We're coming at you from Phillips Arena in beautiful downtown Atlanta as the Hawks prepare to take the court. Last outing for Atlanta unsuccessful. The loss to the Timberwolves in Minnesota.
And what really hurt them in that game was their defense. They were very, very lackadaisical at that end of the court.
Well, I would agree with that. I'd give you that. I mean, they didn't play with the kind of energy and emotion they needed, but I wonder about the defensive scheme. I mean, in general, the coaching staff did very little to adjust to what the other team was doing.
And now the opening lineup for Boston, courtesy of State Farm. Rondo and Allen make up the backcourt. Green and KG down low. And it's Pierce in at the 3, the small forward. And for the Hawks, Smith and Horford at the 4 and the 5. Heinrich and Johnson in the backcourt. And it's Williams at the small forward. Rondo dishes to Pierce. And it's Johnson picking him up. Off the pick. And the basket by Pierce.
Larry Drew was brought into Atlanta and wanted to help boost the defense, but it seemed to go the opposite direction, quite honestly. Could just be a transitioning phase, but if it isn't, that has to be worrisome going forward to the Hawks fan.
Now here is Horford. Really struggled in the loss against Minnesota.
You just can't let him get that close to the hoop.
And here are the Celtics now. Clark, the Hawks didn't really go the right direction on defense under Larry Drew, and Steve, that kind of surprised me.
Well, they did step it up in terms of being defensive-minded in the playoffs last year. And I think that was important because you're right, Kevin, they weren't great defensively in the regular season under Drew, but you know, sometimes it takes time for a roster and players to figure out exactly what a coach is looking for.
Now, here is Smith following the miss by Paul Pierce. Smith, the pass to Johnson. Kevin Garnett with the steal.
And nice swipe there. You could see his eyes get wide open when he saw the opportunity to take the ball.
Allen outside. Outside Rondo. Garnett backing down. 5 on the clock. Fades back. Joe Johnson pulls it in.
And one thing with Johnson that was different last season was that the Hawks made an effort to try to limit his minutes over the course of the year. Remember, he signed that long contract. They want to keep him healthy and fresh so that he can really fulfill the years on that contract.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach Doc Rivers.
He had a lot of praise to extend Joe Johnson's way, and with each compliment, it presented a concern for his defense. He knows Joe is one of the most explosive scorers in the league and can hurt you in a lot of different ways on the floor. We'll see if he can hurt them in this one, guys.
All right, Doris, thank you very much. Clark, returning to Johnson for just a minute. That's not easy as a coach to leave a guy like him off the floor.
Well, a player of his caliber becomes a bit of a security blanket for a coach, but you have to balance the urgency of the present with what's best for your long-term future as a team. And certainly when you look at a guy like Joe Johnson, you want to get efficiency and balance that with the minutes played.
And Pierce backs in. Williams picks him up. Pierce, good. Here's Heinrich. Back to Smith. There's the pass to Williams. From outside, off the mark. The Celtics with the lead.
Well, you look at Atlanta's team makeup last year, and it was similar to previous seasons. Very talented front court, some strong wing players, but nobody really running the show, and that was one of the reasons they traded for Kirk Heinrich at midseason.
Back to Atlanta. They haven't had a controlling point guard in quite some time, Clark. You know, we heard Steve talk about Heinrich. Good pickup. They may still be looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Eventually, it always seems to catch up to them not having that elite, premier point guard type. They played well in the postseason without one, but they'll need a true floor general to become great to take that next step.
A couple of years ago, they had that high pick when they could have chose
Chris Paul, CP3. I remember that.
And they went another direction. Now here's Johnson. 14 points from him the last game against the Timberwolves in Minneapolis.
How often have we seen him, Kevin, create wide open chances for himself like that?
Now here's West. Allen outside. Allen left side. Allen left side. With 1 on the clock. And Garnett gets it to go on the assist by Allen. Here's T. 59 seconds left here in the first quarter. West picks him up. Smith outside. He's guarded by Davis. Nice shot by Smith. It's all knotted up. 43 seconds left to play in the first. West kicks to Pierce. Garnett with a screen on Williams. That's blocked. It's time now to look at the NBA's top shooting teams from a season ago. Number 1, the Celtics.
Kevin, no team shot a higher percentage than these guys last year. I mean, that's something they definitely want to build on this season. It'll be hard to improve, but they believe in themselves. They got a lot of confidence after last season as far as shooting the ball goes.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Al Horford, he's checked in for Pachulia. Powell comes in for Josh Smith. And Damian Wilkins subbed in for Marvin Williams. Here's Powell. Atlanta again missing. And here are the Celtics now. And this game, the first chance they've had to see Atlanta.
Yeah, these were two of the top teams in the conference a year ago. And I'll tell you what, this club was really at their best in those games. The season series really belonged to them.
Allen for 3. He beats the buzzer with a fantastic shot.
Major guts right there, fellas.
And at the end.
On tap.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter. Celtics leading by 3. You just can't overstate how important those matchups between the top conference teams are.
Well, there's always a lot at stake, Kevin. You want to get that good seed in the spring. Both these teams know every game is going to be a battle.
And these players think about that.
Yes.
They know about the seeding.
They sure do. They've got it in their mind.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the court for the Celtics, Davis out there with Jermaine O'Neal. And it's Rajon Rondo. And there's Green. And it's Wafer. And it's the 2. Rondo dishes to Green. He feeds it to O'Neal. Outside, Davis. Clock at 6. Heinrich against Rondo. That's good. Rondo's got his first points of the game.
You know, it's really interesting, guys. The Celtics considered kind of a jump shooting team. You think of Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, but they were 25th in three-pointers made and 5th in the league in shots made at the rim. So a little bit of a contradiction there based on what you might think.
Here's Green, and he converts the layup.
You know, the hardest part of that play was getting to the rebound. After that, it was easy.
And here's Heinrich looking for his first bucket of the game. Marked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. And for the Celtics, I'm sure Rajon Rondo has a lot to do with those shot attempts, from around the rim.
No question.
Well, he's really the guy who creates the offense for Boston, both inside and out. His penetration leads to open three-point looks for guys like Pierce and Allen. And he gets a lot of layups, and if those are missed, there's some offensive rebounding opportunities for the big men as well.
Tell you what, the defense wasn't backing down there because usually he can use his strength to fight through contact.
The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
Good defense, but you gotta love the finish with the finger roll over the top.
Rondo with it. 8 points his last outing. The feed now to Garnett. Goes up against Pachulia. Back to Rondo. Goes right up. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
It would be easy to go on at length about Rondo's shot, but one theory is his hands are actually too big, and I think there may be something to that. When you talk about some guys that struggle shooting the ball, it's almost like he's holding a tennis ball out there. It's an asset in some ways, but maybe in terms of shot mechanics, it can be a little difficult.
Now here's Crawford. Here's Smith. Again, the Hawks score.
Yeah, that's just too easy. He is so skilled inside.
Clark, you brought up Rondo's hands. He can palm the ball standing at only 6'2". But sometimes you see him drive the lane and look like he's going to pass and take it back and bring it back again, kind of the old okey-doke. He's a talented kid. There's no doubt. You can do that, Steve.
No, that's impressive. At 6'2" to have hands like that, and that's a big reason why he's got such great ball control in transition, and that's why he gets so many steals too. Long arms, big hands. He's just really, really tough to deal with out there.
Glenn Davis is checked in for the Celtics. West comes in for Rajon Rondo. The kick out to Pierce. Garnett with a screen on Williams. Blocked. The Hawks trail by 3. It's 2-on-1. Pull up Jay. The rebound by the Celtics. Garnett's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Tough loss coming against Cleveland in their last game play.
I thought they committed a lot of unnecessary fouls in that game, guys, and that got them into trouble. And in the end, that may have been the difference.
Yep, and that's really a lack of discipline there. I mean, they just weren't under control defensively during a lot of the game. Boy, the Hawks came into the postseason last year as the 5 seed and really weren't given too much of a chance, but they turned some heads against the Magic.
Horford, no luck.
He'll usually knock that shot down.
He sure will, but that's one he couldn't pass up.
Kicks it to Pierce. West against Johnson. Williams against Pierce from 20 feet out, and it's Boston with another. Well, back to the Hawks. They kind of backed into the postseason, losing, Steve, their last 6 regular season games.
Well, it shows sometimes that the regular season may not make any difference once the playoffs start. I think Atlanta really caught fire in that first round against Orlando, won the series, and then gave Chicago some problems, too.
And there's the 3-second violation. Here is the 2K leaderboard with the list of last season's top 3-point shooters. You look at Allen, second in the league, extremely accurate from beyond the arc.
Anytime you can shoot that high a percentage from behind the arc, that's not only a good year, that's an outstanding year. This season was rock solid from behind the arc.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Pachulia, he's checked in for Horford. Powell comes in for Josh Smith. And it's Heinrich in for Jeff Teague. Heinrich kicks to Johnson. Lets it go with a 3. And a great assist by Heinrich as that one goes in. Here's West. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. He's guarded by Johnson. Outside, Green. Just 5 to shoot. With the clock winding down, Rafer is whistled for the loose ball foul. That is his first foul of the game.
A little bit reckless there, trying to get that rebound, and he gets the call for going over the top.
Yeah, he practically tackled him. I mean, he was draped all over him, Steve. That was an easy one.
Welcome, everyone, to this Friday night. For Milwaukee, a loss to the Bucks.
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball.
And Johnson suffered through a subpar shooting year last season due to that elbow surgery that he had in December. Probably tried to come back a little too quickly, and you could tell it really affected his game.
Heinrich and Johnson in the backcourt. Williams and Smith at the forward. Horford anchoring the middle. So that's the lineup for Atlanta. Good look. Horford, no luck. As we get back to Joe Johnson, Steve just talking about him, and Clark, that elbow, as you mentioned before, gave him trouble all season long.
You know, Kevin, one of the things about being injured and having the surgery is you can get back and play, but it usually takes a full season or half a season before you can give the injury the kind of attention that you want to give it to get well. So that's why the offseason going into next year is going to be really important. It bothered him. I know it did, and he still played through it.
Well, you know, I mean, if you rush getting the guy back on the floor and don't let that injury completely heal, you just cause him more problems.
And that's part of the business of pro sports. When you are able to play, even if you're not 100%, guys feel an obligation to do that, and they also feel pressure to do that.
Garnett backing down. Rondo kicks to Pierce. Nice movement. from past the arc, and that one's good. And it's a 9-point Celtic lead.
Well, not the best defensive scheme, and it results in a wide-open look. Well, you look at the Celtics a season ago, they went 23-18 on the road, and that would be a good mark for most teams. That was Boston's worst road record in the last 4 years. Changing sides didn't seem to help them at all, huh, guys? They've missed their first 3 shots in the third quarter.
Outside Rondo. He kicks it to Pierce. Guarded by Heinrich. Tries in the post. Can't hit, so the Hawks will take it the other way. Steve was talking about that Celtics road record. You think, Clark, that is something to be concerned about, 23-18 away?
Kevin, probably not. I mean, on their overall record, they gained 6 wins from the previous season. If there's any concern for the Celtics, it's probably the question of age and how much do the big three have left in the tank. But it is interesting when you think about it. Last year, when they the year before rather, when they got to the NBA Finals, they didn't feel concerned about not having home court advantage in the Eastern Conference because they had been so good on the road.
Sure.
So that could have maybe put a little chink in their armor in last season's playoff.
Now here is Smith after the miss from Kevin Garnett. He dishes it to Horford over Garnett. And it's Horford again missing.
Difficult shot from mid-range, and the defense was all over him.
Boy, I like the close out there, Steve. Well done.
It's stolen by Johnson.
Now, part of the reason they are where they are is that they have taken care of the ball for the most part.
And Williams backs in. Heinrich passes to Smith. To end the drought. Oh, and the dunk by Smith. Now let's take a look at it once again with our Spike Slam Cam.
Come on now, I didn't see. Can you believe that finish? Boy, a little bit of flair and flavor at the end of it.
Oh, that'll be a fan favorite, all right.
That was not your average typical dunk.
Damian Wilkins checked in for Marvin Williams. And then for Boston, Jermaine O'Neal is checked in for Garnett. And Delonte West is subbed in for Ray Allen.
When I look at Josh Smith, I can't help but think back to the 2005 dunk contest that he won. A lot of fantastic, spectacular dunks from him. A great display of his bounceability.
Now here's West, looking for his first bucket of the game. Shot clock at 3. Releases, and that one's good by Pierce. Look, I remember that dunk contest you brought up with Smith. Seeing him take off and dunk over a sitting Kenyon Martin still sticks out most to me, Steve.
Yeah, and how about the tribute to Dominique Wilkins as well when he took Dominique's jersey, put it on. That was one of the better dunk contests we've seen. And Smith, remember, he scored a perfect 50 on 3 of his 4 dunks. He was amazing.
Rondo dishes to Pierce. He's guarded by Johnson. Now Pierce, 14 points for him. From 20 feet out, and another basket for Boston.
Well, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out in getting this lead.
Back to Smith. Backing him down is Johnson. Horford against O'Neal. Big shot on the way. Rebound by Jeff Green. Green's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. West outside. And Pierce backs in. Goes up. Got it off in time, but it's no good. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. It's time for the fourth quarter and time to check in with the 4th member of our team, Doris Burke, for our Sprite Spark Report. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, for that great stretch the Celtics put together, they get the Sprite Spark Award. Things started opening up for them in the third quarter as they exerted their will onto this game, and they are in complete control as the game now heads into the 4th and final period, guys.
Terrific stuff, Doris. Thank you. That was quite a run ahead, Clark.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kevin, scoring bursts like that often tell the story, really. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And that's been the case today. I mean, that's what you'd have to point to, I think, is the defining moment in this ballgame.
On the court right now for the Celtics. Rondo and Allen make up the backcourt. Garnett out there with Murphy. And it's Davis at the three. Now here's Allen. The finger roll finish at the bucket. Allen's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Celtics. Heinrich kicks to Johnson. Here's Heinrich. Backing him down is Johnson. Feeds it to Heinrich. And he lays it straight in.
Yeah, no mistakes on the offensive execution there.
Here's Rondo. Now a timeout called by Boston. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Doc Rivers address his team. He said to them, the lead we've got now is nice, but I want to make it even nicer. This is when we put the hammer down. It doesn't look like he's ready to back off just yet, guys.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Al Horford is checked in for Pachulia. Smith comes in for Josh Powell. And it's Crawford in for Joe Johnson. Now here's Garnett. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
I thought Kevin Garnett really bounced back last season and looked better physically. Remember, the knee issues have been a problem over the years, but looked great last year, and is always the key to that Celtics defense. That's like a Hail Mary pass in football. Too risky.
Pierce kicks to Garnett. It's Allen on the wing. From the arc. Josh Smith pulls it in. And for Kevin Garnett, among active players, the second most career minutes played after Jason Kidd. So Clarkie's got some miles on that odometer.
Yeah, he does. But last season, he upped his numbers across the board, Kevin. I mean, he may not play till he's 40, but with his size and fire for the game, I think he's still got plenty in the fuel tank.
Here's Bradley, following the basket by Al Horford. Outside, Davis makes the lead pass, gets the bucket. That's 7 points for Allen.
Tight spot there to put it in. Perfect pass.
Dishes to Smith. Goes up the baseline. Again, the Hawks score.
Well, for one, he hasn't let them down. I mean, but a few other guys need to pick up the pace if they're going to be good.
Now here's Bradley. Outside, Pierce. Williams picks him up. Good on the shot. 18 points for Paul Pierce.
Finger roll. That's pure style, guys. I like that.
Atlanta calls timeout. They're down by 12. 1:51 left in the fourth quarter. Joe Johnson, he's checked in for the Hawks. Jeff Green is checked in for Boston. Rondo comes in for Avery Bradley. Here's Heinrich. Horford up top. Johnson, the pass to Smith. That's it, coming off an assist from Johnson. Smith's got 4 this quarter.
We've seen some great shooting from him today. They've got to lean on him a little bit more.
Green with a screen on Williams. Doubled by Smith. Horford against Green. Shot clock at 6. For 3. And that one's good. And the Celtics lead by 13.
Man, they are spreading the floor and letting it fly, really knocking it down from outside.
And I love that gunslinger's mentality, Steve. Playing to win as opposed to playing to safe. I call it prevent offense when you try to protect the lead. Let it fly, let it fly, let it fly.
And here's Rondo. Outside, Green. Pierce against Williams. Heinrich against Rondo. Over Heinrich. And another basket for Boston.
And that ought to do it. That should seal the deal.
Yep, I agree. Closing it out with relish.
The dish now to Johnson. And Allen picks him up defensively. Launches a three. And it's Johnson again missing. And so the Celtics now can just hold on to the ball. And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. Not much.